Good evening, America. We have about a half hour of some pretty decent information, but we're going to try to break it down to about 10 to 15 minutes of the American people's time. Assessing 5 comments tonight because my Facebook Live exploded, and I wanted to leave the people with something today. I mean, tonight, excuse me, or this, you should be getting this by tomorrow morning. Um, we're so concerned about the 54% of the Republican Party overturning the election. That's 106 Republican Party members. Republican congressional members of the GOP, including the idiot from Texas and the retard from Pennsylvania, governors. See, America, when you hear the apolitical community, or a community of newfound consciousness, levels of awareness that see things differently, see things for the better, see things that can actually happen in this country if we just listen. We warned everybody. Guys, the Republican Party is focused on the big money makers, baby. Big money makers. Talking Continental Realty, Republican Party members that have set up hotels in other parts of the world, raking in cash out of tourism, oil, cruise lines, cruise ships, as well as military defense, weaponry, technology. It just goes on and on. And these are some big money makers for the government. Now speed it up a little bit. And we're all mad at the Democratic Party, but they're collecting hush money like crazy. Haven't heard one word from Nancy Pelosi, for example. Nothing's coming. Nobody's fighting. And the only thing they can get out of this whole situation is a $600 stimulus check for the American people. Now, this is where it gets a little deeper. This comes as no surprise to somebody that's apolitical, because a lot of us, when we hear them speak, for example, okay, in our minds, being working class, low income, whatever the case may be, we're listening, but we're reading between the lines. So we go and research, and we find something completely different. Like, okay, they're doing backdoor bidding. That's no surprise, America. That's politics. Yes, they come on your television. Yes, they make appearances. They'll give you bits and pieces of what they're doing in the Senate. But money is exchanged at the end of the day, and whoever comes up with the biggest paycheck, that's what flies. And to answer comment number one, excuse me, it's funny how nobody knows in which the biggest paycheck or the biggest lump sum or the biggest negotiation, that's 80% time spent when they're telling you on televisions across your country that we're doing our best to write you democratic, equal, and backed with justice in terms of legislation and policy. Right. There's not a lot of input from the people. Now, America, I've read some of your other comments in which, oh, well, back in 1787 or 1905, they would have mail out flyers usually to Americans across the country, didn't matter where it was, and they would do you mail-in, not mail-in ballots, but mailing out letters to the people. Hey, we're drawing up this legislation. Just wanted to let you know you can go to this newspaper or this telegraph company, or you can turn on the stereo, the hi-fi, or whatever they had at the time, transistor radios, and you could tune into NPR. And NPR would let you know what's going on in Washington. Well, that's changed. America, 90% of the time, we are not included in any legislation or policy. They're doing what they think is best. Why? Because we have not revitalized our political system. It's not America. It's 1700 anymore. It's not 1900 anymore. 1800. This is a time in which Skype is utilized, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And yes, they're talking a lot of shit on Facebook. They're trying to shut it down because why? Everyone can tell you the truth about Trump. Trump is a person who goes on social media and yet shares highly sensitive Homeland Security information, tries to start wars with other parts of the country because we have no idea what we're doing. Better, no, let me say it better. They have no idea what they're doing. Again, because they're 80, 90 years old, and that's nothing to say to anybody that's elderly, but America, again, that's not going to be a benefit the country because 70% of the country is tech savvy. We communicate through everything that we use. And do you think your government is going to do that? No, they're solely focused on their big money makers. Because, in all truth, to answer comment number two, yes, they work with the 1%. The 1% controls your federal government. And the federal government is supposed to control the state level government, so on and so forth. So there was one or two things here that could be going on. To get to comment number three, it's a war of money and power. It could very well be a power struggle on top of money. America, through further research and sociology, off and on, I check what Trump's doing with taxes. I look at it, it's all available to you, America. 50% tax breaks for all 1% elites. The providers of electricity, water, gas, again with the tourism, and it just goes on and on and on and on. You can look at all of the 1% and what they own and what they provide to the American people on a daily basis. They have to make them happy. Money and power. Comment number three. Nancy Pelosi has never been about the people. Nancy Pelosi is solely focused on corporate Democrats. Corporate Democrats have been lying for years on national television and other forms of news networks, social media broadcasts in which the Democrats are solely worried and solely focused and solely concerned with their hush money, careers, and the American payers' tax dollar. America, the examples are right here and every day. Now, to speed the video up, I don't say all of this to rub it in the American people's faces. I'm not doing this to be right or start arguments or, steer the people in the wrong direction. As I continue to try to speed up the video and close it, it's try to make it only 15 minutes. There should be a major awakening for the 40% of Americans that are still either supporting Trump or waiting on a prayer for your state level government to come through with some miracle. America, that is not how power works. You all seem to think that democracy is real, all these ideas are real. Again, America, an idea is in your mind, and you give it to a small group of people to give it to a larger group of people to either keep peace, contentment, positive progression, technological, medical, whatever the case may be. But that's not what's happening here. Again, what is happening here is a struggle with money and power. The reason why you're not seeing any results on COVID, one, America, is because they don't want to spend money on us. They don't. They have made it clear. There are hospitals, as you read today, and you can always go get this. They're setting up parking garages as COVID-19 hospitals. Parking garages. And you know what your state level government said? Nothing. You want to know what Trump said? He laughed at you. Again, told you were all liars. All of us were liars. Here's what I really encourage the American people to think about. Please think about this. Because this is affecting our children negatively more than you could ever fucking imagine because we are solely focused on our precious pride and our precious I'm right. Take the power in your own hands. You have every constitutional right to do so, even if that means taking up arms, which everybody's so fucking pissed off about, doesn't want to hear it, want to give everybody cease and desist for encouraging each other to take up arms and protect one another. Comment number 4, the militias. You have to draw. To make it very short, these militias are out to make the 1% and the Republicans happy. They're to a point, you don't believe in us? Fine, we'll wave a gun at your people. Don't let that happen. Again, another constitutional right for all LTC holding Americans as well as honorably discharged veterans. Protect your people. Comment number 4. 5. What do you say about our military? I'll tell you again. No offense to any of you that served our country. We thank you dearly, but we don't trust you. We're not hearing anything from you. All we know, some of us at least know, from either associating or running crews and associations that had included veterans to protect our shelters and our homeless communities, was you have to follow orders. And we know for a fact that if you're given an order to defend your president and your commander in chief, even if that means marching your boots on our soil, we know that you're going to do that because we know that you're trained to do that. So I hope that any active military service member, whether it's a grunt all the way up to a fucking corporal, I hope that you protect the people by any means necessary from any enemy, foreign and domestic, because our enemy is sitting in a White House in Washington on Pennsylvania Avenue right now. So please do that. Comment number 6. It's nice to hear somebody speak about our communities. Much love and respect, and wishing your family a great holiday. And we hope that you're fed, you're warm, you're clothed, because somebody with your heart, mind, and a level of awareness and conscious eye means the world to us out here in LA. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Big ups to LA. We wish the same here. But we want in our not only apolitical America, but our just human community, our higher level of awareness. We want to spread this across the country because you're all sitting there on false prayers, hoping that the fucking the power structure somehow throws money at you and makes the problem better. It's not involving money much longer, America, because, for example, how much longer can they keep giving us $600 and we keep giving our money back to nothing that's there? America, the economy's not real. It's based on ideas. It's based on an idea of mathematics. And if the mathematics are no longer there because there's nobody taking our money, for one thing, that's why we have a hiring freeze out in New Bedford. There's not enough people spending, so there can't be anybody hiring. Just go work online. It doesn't work that way. You got to spend money to work online, baby, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't have that kind of money and that network sitting in your house, you broke as fuck. So I hope, to conclude my broadcast tonight, that you share this with your family. Share this as much as you want, America. I don't even care if you share it with the president himself. Maybe I can get through to him. To conclude it right here, I have a message for the president of the United States of America. I hope and pray you don't want a war. Because evidently you don't know nothing about politics, you don't know nothing about people, and you don't even know how to tie your shoelaces without Mr. Mike Pence or some other adult in charge finding you hanging from a fucking ceiling by your balls because you don't know how to tie your shoes. That's the intelligence level I believe that you have. But all kidding aside, if you do not want a war, or you do not want this fucking country to blow up as it's going to, then you need to step down from power, either give it to somebody else, or I inspire every single 535 congressional seats as well as the Supreme Court. If you do not want to get to a level of awareness in which you have to accommodate our political power to accommodate a structure such as ours in 2020, you need to resign and you need to start electing people like me and the rest of my community to bring this country back to where it needs to be, because you are living in the Reagan era. Nothing that you're doing is working, and all you're doing is driving the people to march on Washington. Your militias are not helping. They're scaring people, and we're just gonna bust back. That's how war works. That's how fucking you pull a knife, I pull a gun, etc. That kind of scenario. That's what's going on. So I have a message for Washington and every other fucking power structure that is watching me right now. If you want to be miserable and live like this, then you take your 1%, you go somewhere else. This is not how we want to fucking live. Having you all tell everyone else we're just a bunch of fucking lazy drug addicts, criminal. We're not. We're far from that. We're all working. Dealing with the fucking targeted poverty that you drew up years ago and love to use. I speak for working class, parents, anyone that believes that there is a better way to live, because this isn't it. Fuck the United States of America right now. I'm out.